Your body is speaking. It whispers in cravings, in tiredness, in the fog that clouds your mind. It is a language of deep, ancient wisdom, but the modern world is too loud to hear it. Are you listening? Most people will see the title and seek a magical recipe, a quick fix. They will miss the profound truth hidden within the practice. The cost of skipping this journey is not just continued struggle, it is the tragedy of never learning the language of your own life force, of remaining a stranger to the incredible power for healing you already possess. This is not about a drink. This is about remembering who you are. We begin here. Not with a list of ingredients, not with a promise of a cure, but with a simple observation of our own state of being. Where do you find yourself right now? Perhaps there is a restlessness, a constant hum of activity not just in the world around you, but within your own mind. 1,000 thoughts pulling for your attention, a list of tasks that never seems to shrink, the phantom vibration of a phone in your pocket. This is the landscape of the modern soul, a terrain of perpetual disturbance. We call it stress, we call it anxiety, we call it being busy, but let us call it by its true name. Noise, an inner noise so pervasive, so constant, that we have forgotten what silence feels like. This noise is a form of sickness. It is a dissonance that disrupts the natural harmony of our body and our spirit. And in this state of constant, low-grade emergency, the body seeks relief. It seeks a moment of pleasure, a brief escape from the pressure. It craves something sweet. This craving is not a failure of your willpower. It is a symptom. It is a distress signal from a system that is overwhelmed. It is your body, in its profound wisdom, trying to find a moment of peace in the only way it has been taught by our modern culture, through a quick, external reward. The sugar is not the enemy. The noise is the enemy. The disconnection is the enemy. The true sickness is a life lived on the surface, deaf to the currents that run deep within. We have become so skilled at managing the external world, our calendars, our careers, our social feeds, that we have become complete amateurs in managing our internal world. The result is a profound imbalance. The body, left to its own devices, tries to correct this imbalance. The craving for sugar is a cry for energy, a cry for comfort, a cry for a pause in the relentless forward march of the noise. To address the sugar without addressing the noise is like trying to mop up a flooded floor while the faucet is still running at full blast. It is a futile, exhausting effort. The first step, then, is not to fight the craving. It is to simply acknowledge the noise, to sit with it, to observe the chaos within without judgment, to recognize that this state of inner turmoil is not your natural state. It is a learned condition, and because it is learned, it can be unlearned. The path to healing begins not with subtraction, but with awareness. The awareness of the sheer volume of the noise you carry with you every single day. This is the foundational practice. Weed poison. Let us now examine this substance, this sugar, not just as a molecule, but as a symbol. It represents a far wider phenomenon in our lives. It is the sweet poison of instant gratification. It is the promise of reward without effort, of pleasure without presence. It is in the food we eat, yes, but it is also in the information we consume. The endless scroll through social media, the binge watching of shows that leave us feeling empty, the constant seeking of external validation in the form of likes and comments. Each of these is a form of sugar for the mind. It provides a brief, fleeting spike of pleasure, a dopamine hit that temporarily masks the underlying unease, the inner noise. And just like physical sugar, it is followed by a crash, a feeling of depletion, of dissatisfaction, of being further away from our true center than when we began. This cycle is deeply addictive. It weakens our very structure. Imagine building a house. The foundation must be strong, solid, built with patience and quality materials. This foundation is your discipline, your inner stillness, your connection to yourself. The sweet poison of modern life encourages us to build with cheap, fast materials. It tells us to focus on the facade, the paint, the decorations, while the foundation cracks and crumbles beneath. We become fragile. Our emotional state becomes dependent on the next hit of sweetness. Our physical body, flooded with substances it was not designed to process in such vast quantities, begins to break down. The systems that regulate our energy, our mood, our very life force become overwhelmed. This is what some call diabetes or metabolic syndrome or hormonal imbalance. But these are just names for a deeper condition, a body and a spirit that have been fed a consistent diet of sweet poison and have forgotten what true nourishment feels like. The sweetness is a lie. It promises energy but creates fatigue. It promises connection but fosters loneliness. It promises satisfaction but leaves a void. To confront this, we must see it for what it is. We must recognize the pattern not just on our plate, but in every aspect of our lives, where we reach for the easy, the instant, the sweet, to avoid the necessary work of building a solid inner structure. The sugar is any distraction that pulls us away from the present moment, from the reality of our own being. It is the siren song that leads us away from the path of self-mastery and onto the rocks of chronic imbalance and disease. Acknowledging this pattern is not a cause for despair, but for empowerment. When you can see the cage, you can begin to find the key. The key is not in fighting the poison, but in choosing, moment by moment, to cultivate a taste for something real, something truly nourishing. Now we arrive at the drink. But you must understand, the physical liquid is secondary. It is a tool. The real medicine is the ritual itself. It is the act of creating a space of intention and mindfulness in your day. This is a practice of Gong Fu, not the fighting you see in movies, but its true meaning, skill acquired through patient, dedicated effort over time. The ritual is your training ground. So, what is this ritual? It is devastatingly simple. It involves water and something grown from the earth. It could be a slice of ginger. It could be a handful of goji berries. It could be the leaves of a simple green tea. The specific ingredient is less important than the quality of your attention as you engage with it. The ritual begins before the water is even heated. It begins with a conscious choice. For the next 10 minutes, this is all I will do. You put away your phone, you turn off the screen, you stand in your kitchen and you are simply there. You take the ingredient in your hand, you observe it, you feel its texture, its weight, you notice its color, its smell. You are not just looking at a piece of ginger, you are connecting with the earth that produced it, the sun and rain that nourished it. You are cultivating a sense of reverence for the simple, profound miracle of nature. Then you prepare it. If you are slicing the ginger, you feel the resistance of the knife through its fibers. You are not rushing. Each slice is a deliberate action. The world with all its noise falls away, and there is only you, the knife, and the ginger. You place it in a cup, a simple vessel. You heat the water. You listen to the sound of the water as it begins to stir and then to boil. You are a witness to a fundamental process of transformation, from still to active, from cool to hot. When the water is ready, you pour it. You watch the steam rise, carrying the aroma of the ingredient with it. You watch as the water begins to take on the color, the very essence of what you have placed within it. This is alchemy. You are transforming simple elements into a vessel for your intention. You let it steep. You do not check your watch. You do not think about your next task. You simply observe. You feel the warmth of the cup in your hands. You watch the subtle dance of the steam. This period of waiting is not empty time. It is a space of stillness, a space for your nervous system to down-regulate, to shift from a state of fight or flight to a state of rest and digest. The healing has already begun, and you have not even taken a sip. This entire process is a meditation. It is a prayer without words. It is an act of deep self-respect. You are telling yourself, your body, your spirit, that you are worthy of this time, this attention, this care. This simple ritual, practiced daily, becomes an anchor. It is a fortress of solitude you can build in the midst of a chaotic day. It is the beginning of reclaiming your attention from the sweet poisons of the world and placing it back where it belongs, within you. As you perform this simple ritual day after day, something remarkable begins to happen. The inner noise starts to quiet down. It does not disappear overnight, but its volume is gradually reduced. The constant frantic chatter of the mind begins to give way to moments of quiet clarity. In this newfound quiet, you start to hear something else, a subtle, gentle voice that was always there, but was previously drowned out. This is the language of your body. It is a language spoken, not in words, but in sensations. A feeling of lightness after a certain meal. A dull ache in your lower back when you have been sitting too long. A sudden wave of fatigue in the afternoon. Before, you may have ignored these signals or tried to silence them with a painkiller or a cup of coffee or a sugary snack. You treated them as annoyances, as malfunctions. Now, with the clarity cultivated by your ritual, you begin to see them as what they truly are. Messages, communications from an incredibly intelligent system that is constantly striving for balance. Your body is not your enemy. It is your most loyal ally, your most honest teacher. Its language is brutally honest. It will tell you exactly what it needs and what is harming it. The practice then becomes one of listening. When you feel a craving, instead of immediately gratifying it, you pause. You hold your warm cup, you breathe, and you ask, what is this craving truly asking for? Is it a need for energy? Perhaps you need rest, not sugar. Is it a need for comfort? Perhaps you need a moment of stillness, not a pastry. Is it a feeling of emptiness? Perhaps you need genuine connection, not the empty calories of a processed snack. The drink, the warm liquid you have prepared with such intention, becomes a tool for this dialogue. As you sip it slowly, you are not just hydrating your cells, you are creating a space for this conversation to unfold. You are learning to differentiate between true hunger and emotional craving. You are learning to read the subtle cues of your own energy levels. You start to notice how different foods, different activities, different emotional states affect you. This is the beginning of true self-mastery. It is not about following a rigid diet plan prescribed by an external authority. It is about becoming your own authority. It is about cultivating such a deep, intimate connection with your own body that you no longer need anyone else to tell you how to nourish it. You simply know. The body's language is the language of truth. It does not lie. Learning to speak this language is the most important skill you can ever develop for your health and well-being. It is a journey from being a passive victim of your body's problems to becoming an active participant in its constant, miraculous process of healing and self-regulation. This is the wisdom that modern medicine, with all its technology, often overlooks. The wisdom is not in a pill or a machine. It is already within you, waiting to be heard. The daily ritual of preparing and consuming your drink is a practice in cultivating stillness. Let us be very clear about what stillness is. It is not emptiness. It is not a void. It is not a state of doing nothing. True stillness is a state of supreme alertness. It is a state of being fully present, fully aware, without the disturbance of the restless mind. In the martial arts, we call this rooting. A tree with a deep root system can withstand the most powerful storms. It can bend without breaking. A tree with shallow roots is easily toppled by the first strong wind. Our inner stillness is our root. When we are rooted, we are unshakable. The storms of life, the stresses, the demands, the emotional upheavals can still blow, but they no longer have the power to uproot us. We are grounded in our own center. The sweet poisons of the world lose their appeal when you are rooted. The craving for a quick fix disappears when you have a deep, unshakable source of strength within you. Why would you reach for a sugary drink that gives you a fleeting high and a subsequent crash when you can access a state of calm, centered energy that is stable and enduring? The ritual is your daily practice of sending your roots deeper into the earth of your own being. Every moment you spend in quiet observation, feeling the warmth of the cup, watching the steam, you are strengthening your root. You are training your mind to be still. This is a skill, and like any skill, it requires consistent practice. In the beginning, your mind will wander. It will pull you back into the noise, into the lists, into the worries. This is normal. The practice is not to fight the mind, but to gently, patiently bring it back. Each time you notice your mind has wandered and you bring it back to the sensation of the warm cup in your hands, you have just completed one repetition of the most important exercise you will ever do. You are strengthening your muscle of attention. This muscle, when strong, gives you the power to choose where you place your focus. This is freedom. The freedom to not be a slave to your impulses. The freedom to not be tossed about by every emotional wave. The freedom to remain calm and clear in the face of chaos. This cultivated stillness is the antidote to the inner noise. It is the foundation upon which all healing is built. When the body is in a state of stillness, it is not in a state of emergency. The nervous system is calm. The hormonal system can find its balance. The digestive system can function optimally. The immune system can do its work effectively. You are creating the internal conditions necessary for your body to heal itself. The drink is the catalyst, but the stillness is the medicine. It is the fertile ground from which true health, vitality, and peace can grow. Consider the nature of water. It is the most powerful and transformative element on earth, yet it is also the most humble. It yields, yet it overcomes all obstacles. It can hold the shape of any vessel, yet it can also carve through solid rock. Water cleanses. It washes away impurities. It brings life to arid land. It is in constant motion, yet it can also be profoundly still. This is the principle we are inviting into our lives through our simple ritual. The warm liquid you drink each day is a physical representation of this principle of flowing water. As you consume it, you can hold the intention that it is not just hydrating your physical tissues, but that it is helping to cleanse your entire system on a much deeper level. Imagine this warm, clean water flowing through you, washing away the stagnant energy that has accumulated. Stagnation is the root of many forms of illness. When energy does not flow freely, it creates blockages. This can manifest as physical pain, as emotional heaviness, as mental fog. The sweet poisons of our culture contribute to this stagnation. They are heavy, sticky, and difficult for the system to process. They clog our channels. The practice of drinking this simple, pure liquid is an act of encouraging flow. It is like introducing a gentle, persistent stream into a swampy, stagnant pond. Over time, the stream will flush out the old water, clearing the mud and debris until the pond becomes a clear, vibrant body of water once again. This is a powerful metaphor for what happens within us. We are not aggressively attacking the sugar or the diabetes. We are not going to war with our own bodies. That approach only creates more tension, more resistance, more noise. Instead, we are using the gentle, persistent power of flowing water. We are introducing a practice of cleansing and purification that is kind, patient, and deeply respectful of the body's own wisdom. With each sip, you can visualize this cleansing process. You can feel the warmth spreading through you, dissolving tension, easing blockages, and restoring a sense of lightness and flow. This is not magical thinking. It is a way of using the power of your mind, your intention, to support the physical process that is already underway. Your body wants to be in a state of flow. It is its natural state. Our modern lifestyle is what creates the stagnation. The daily ritual is your way of consciously and lovingly assisting your body in returning to its natural, flowing, healthy state. You become a collaborator with your own life force rather than an adversary. You learn to work with the principles of nature rather than against them. This is the way of wisdom. This is the way of water. Our understanding of nourishment in the modern world has become tragically narrow. We think of it in terms of macronutrients, vitamins, calories. We analyze food, we break it down into its constituent parts, and we forget the most important quality of all, its life force. We have become experts in the chemistry of food and novices in the art of eating. The simple ritual of the drink is a path back to a deeper, more holistic understanding of nourishment. True nourishment feeds us on every level of our being, body, mind, and spirit. Let us look at how this ritual provides this complete form of nourishment. First, the body. By choosing a simple natural ingredient from the earth, like ginger or turmeric or a pure leaf, and combining it with clean water, you are giving your body something it recognizes, something it can easily assimilate. You are providing hydration and the subtle medicinal properties of the plant without the burden of processing artificial chemicals, refined sugars, or other stressors. This is nourishment in its purest form. It is simple, clean fuel that supports the body's functions rather than hindering them. Second, the mind. The true nourishment for the mind is not more information, but more attention. The mind is starved for presence. In the ritual, you are feeding your mind with stillness. You are nourishing it with focus. By taking it away from the chaotic buffet of digital distractions and giving it the simple, single-pointed task of observing the preparation of the drink, you are giving it a profound rest. You are nourishing its capacity for clarity and calm. A mind that is nourished with presence is a mind that is powerful, creative, and resilient. Third, the spirit. The spirit is nourished by reverence and intention. When you perform the ritual not as a mechanical chore, but as a sacred act of self-care, you are feeding your spirit. The act of slowing down, of showing respect for the simple elements of nature, of consciously choosing to care for yourself. This is what nourishes the deepest part of you. It is an affirmation of your own worth. It is a recognition of your connection to the larger web of life. This is what is missing from our modern approach to health. We can eat all the superfoods in the world, but if we do so while scrolling through our phone, stressed and distracted, we are not being truly nourished. We are just consuming fuel. True nourishment is an experience. It is a state of being. The simple drink, when imbued with the right intention, becomes a vessel for this profound, multi-level nourishment. It reminds us that health is not about what we consume, but about how we consume it. It teaches us to seek not just sustenance, but wholeness. This is the shift that changes everything. What is the ultimate result of this practice? It is not just the disappearance of a symptom. It is the arrival of a state of being, a state of inner balance. Balance is a dynamic state, not a static one. It is not about reaching a perfect, unchanging point and staying there forever. It is like walking on a tightrope. It requires constant, subtle adjustments. It demands awareness. The daily ritual is your training in making these subtle adjustments. It hones your awareness so you can feel when you are leaning too far in one direction. When you have cultivated this sensitivity, you no longer lurch from one extreme to another. You no longer swing from periods of restrictive dieting to periods of uncontrolled binging. You no longer oscillate between manic, caffeine-fueled productivity and complete exhausted collapse. Instead, you begin to live in a state of dynamic equilibrium. Your energy becomes stable and consistent, like a slow-burning fire rather than a flash in the pan. Your moods become more regulated, less susceptible to being hijacked by external events or internal cravings. Your mind becomes clear and focused, able to direct its energy where you choose. This is what it means to be truly healthy. It is a state where the body's systems, hormonal, digestive, nervous, immune, are all working in harmony with each other. The inner noise has subsided, the channels are clear and flowing, and the body is receiving true nourishment. In this state of balance, the body's innate healing intelligence can function at its peak. It can repair tissues, regulate blood sugar, and defend against pathogens with remarkable efficiency. The sickness, the diabetes, the imbalance, these conditions lose their grip because the underlying terrain that allowed them to flourish has been fundamentally changed. You have transformed the swampy, stagnant pond of your inner world into a clear, flowing, vibrant lake. You are no longer fighting a war against your cravings. The cravings simply quiet down. They lose their power. The sweet poisons of the world are still there, but they no longer seem appealing. You have cultivated a taste for something far more satisfying, the feeling of your own inner balance. This is true freedom. It is the freedom that comes from being the master of your own inner state. The drink did not give you this power. The ritual did not give you this power. They were simply the tools you used to uncover the power that was always and will always be within you. You are not just flushing out sugar. You are restoring the sacred natural balance of your entire being. This is the profound and lasting transformation that is available to every single one of us. We arrive at the end of this journey, which is, of course, a beginning. The ultimate goal, the deepest truth behind this entire practice, is not about managing blood sugar. It is not even about achieving perfect health. It is about discovering a state of lasting internal peace. This peace is the soil from which all other good things grow. A body that is at peace is a body that can heal. A mind that is at peace is a mind that is clear and creative. A spirit that is at peace is a spirit that can connect with its purpose. This peace is not something you can buy. It is not a destination you can arrive at. It is a quality of being that you cultivate moment by moment, day by day. The simple ritual of the drink is your daily act of cultivating peace. It is a declaration that amidst the chaos and demands of the world, you will carve out a sanctuary of stillness for yourself. This peace becomes your foundation, your root. When you are rooted in this inner peace, the world can no longer so easily disturb you. The anxieties about the future, the regrets about the past, the relentless pressure to be more, to do more, to have more, they all begin to lose their hold on you. You realize that what you were truly seeking in all those things, in the sugar, in the distractions, in the constant striving, was this very feeling of peace. You were looking for it outside of yourself, when all along it was waiting to be cultivated within. This is the great revelation. The healing of the body is a beautiful, wonderful side effect of the healing of the soul. When you stop fighting, when you stop resisting, when you stop creating so much inner noise, you fall into alignment with the natural intelligence of the universe. You learn to flow with life rather than struggle against it. The drink becomes a symbol of this flow. It is a reminder to be gentle with yourself, to be patient, to trust in the process, to find the sacred in the simple. This lasting peace is your birthright. It is the quiet, unshakable strength that resides at your core. It is the ultimate medicine, the true nourishment, the final cure for the sickness of a disconnected life. The journey is not to get rid of anything. It is to come home to yourself. What is the sweet poison in your life that you feel ready to release? It doesn't have to be food. Share one thing in the comments. Reading each other's truth helps us all feel less alone on the path.